All right, welcome back everybody. So we're at the end of my talk. I want to thank again Professor Sormani thanks for sticking around to the end. So let's get to the questions. So end of talk questions. What do you love most about mathematics? Well, for me, there's two things I really love. Number one is the relationship with the material in my own brain. So what does that mean to me? That means how do I visualize topics? How do I make sense of it? How do I build maps for concepts? Well, that for me is super fun. There's nothing else like it where it's really just all this abstract material, and sure, we can talk about definitions, but like, how do you visualize it? Everyone's going to do things in their own way, and mathematics is rich enough to really have everyone's own point of view really pay off. So it really pays off to be creative. The second thing I love about math is just when you solve a hard problem, it feels good. It's the longer you work at it, the better you're going to feel. So I'm sure you've all had that experience with math where you kind of hate that you're stuck on stuff, but you work on it, and then some random point, maybe a couple hours or a couple days later, you'll figure out, and there's no other feeling that compares to that. So that's, I think, what draws mathematicians in. Okay. So what was your favorite math topic as an undergraduate? All right. So for me, my favorite topic was real analysis. However, I'll say it that I was really good at abstract algebra. So I think abstract algebra came very naturally to me, and real analysis did not. It was counterintuitive. I was poorly prepared for it. I spent a summer before real analysis studying Rudin with a friend who already took it, and it was just hard, but I loved it. I think the fact that it was hard is why I loved it so much. So that was my favorite math topic. And then the more I taught, the more I really enjoy linear algebra. And for anybody that will listen, I tried to joke that I think linear algebra is more important than calculus. So don't tell any geometers that, since we need calculus a lot. All right, moving on. How did you prepare for grad school? So I really didn't do anything special. I was kind of, in undergrad, I didn't really know what I wanted to do. In fact, I started college as a painting major. Number one, I wasn't that good at painting. Number two, the reason why I didn't stick with it is I realized all you had to do was write papers and not really paint. So that turned me off. So I kind of just ran into math, and just by accident, I ended up liking it. So I kept taking calculus, and then I took linear algebra, and I was just kind of taking them because I didn't want to take writing classes. And then eventually I was like, hey, this is kind of fun. But the actual preparation for me was when I was an undergraduate at UCLA, I took honors classes. So I think those were really good preparations. So they were very rigorous. We used pretty tough books. But besides their rigor and having good instructors for that, I think it was that they really taught you and encouraged everyone to work together. So the problem sets were so hard that if you just sat down by yourself, you probably couldn't do all of it. So study groups is something I didn't do at all in college until maybe my last 2 years, and that was all thanks to my honors classes at UCLA. So I really liked that aspect of it, the kind of social aspect of mathematics. Of course, the more you put into it before you meet with people, the more interesting things get. All right, that's how I prepared for graduate school. What was the most challenging part of grad school, and how did you handle it? Ooh, tough one. So the most challenging part for me was as soon as you're done with classes and you're done reading other people's material. So I thought classes were pretty easy. Reading papers was not as easy, but still, it's something in front of you. Somebody already figured things out. So they put effort in giving you a good exposition to follow. The moment you start doing research, though, things just change. It's just so different. I didn't have practice doing open-ended problems. So pretty much every problem in the back of the book had a solution. So it was really, if you didn't do it, it was just because, well, you couldn't figure it out. But you knew that a solution was out there, whereas with research, that's not true. So, I wasn't prepared for kind of dead ends and the psychological feeling of what it's like to not just be able to do stuff. Because when you're good at math, you go to grad school, you're pretty good at stuff, but eventually math will find a place to humble you. But the key thing is to how you handle it. So that's the second part of the question. And well, I don't know if I have the right answer to that, but basically just hopefully perseverance. Eventually you just keep doing it because you like it. It does get hard at some point. And what people find challenging is going to be different for the person. So, so don't really have a good answer on how to handle it besides, okay, here's a good one. Listen to your advisor. They went through this as well, and they are approaching your education from a higher plane of existence. So listen to them. And, even if it doesn't sound like good advice, if you kind of go into the future and look back at the advice, you'll be like, yep, that was good advice. So listen to your advisor. That's how you handle it. General advice for students considering pursuing a doctorate. So for me, I think the main advice I'd give is just do it for purity's sake. Try not to think so much about can you make a lot of money from this? Will you have a stable job? These are very hard questions to answer, so you really kind of want to do it because there's some intrinsic motivation that it's a challenge for you, you love it, and you're okay with doing math all the time, not making too much money while you're in grad school. There's a whole bunch of considerations. I can't really get into all of it. So just do it because for purity's sake is how I'll phrase it. All right. And the last thing I want to say is just, open invitation for anyone to contact me if you have any questions from the talk, any questions about, what I brought up in this little Q&A. Just feel free to reach out. The other thing I'll mention is I'm sure Professor Sormani will share a link. I'll give you a link to this website, which is where I was running some of this code. I'll post my blank notes, I'll post my completed notes, and I'll post links to the lectures. And if you have any questions from any of that, if you did any of the exercises in the notes I posted and you want me to check it out, contact me. Okay, well, that's it for me. It was nice to meet all of you, I guess. And I hope you enjoyed this series of talks. And stay safe.